Hey there, everyone! It sure has been a while since I've done a movie review. A few days to be exact. But I'm not gonna make a big fuss about that. And if you guys saw the title and thumbnail, today I'll be sharing my thoughts on an action-packed cop-related movie starring Will Smith and Gene Hackman in Enemy of the State. Now, I assume you guys might have heard of this movie before, but just in case you don't, here's the description. Hot Hollywood favorite Will Smith, Men in Black and Independence Day, stars with two-time Academy Award winner Gene Hackman in a high-powered suspense thriller where non-stop action meets cutting-edge technology. Robert Clayton Dean is a successful Washington, D.C. attorney who, without his knowledge, is given a video that ties a top official of the National Security Agency to a political murder. Uh-oh. Instantly, every aspect of Dean's once normal life is targeted by a lethal team of skilled NSA surveillance operatives who wage a relentless, ultra high tech campaign to discredit him and retrieve the incriminating evidence. Also featuring Ring King and an impressive star-studded cast. Get ready for the action to explode as Dean desperately races to reclaim his life and prove his innocence before it's too late. Man, this is like one of the most wildest movies I've ever seen since Out for Justice or the Blues Brothers, in my opinion. Because just like what the description of the back of the VHS tape said, there's just so many crazy things to expect from this movie. I mean, this has good writing, great action sequences, an amazing all-star cast with the appearance of Gene Hackman, Will Smith, Jack Black, and Seth Green, for example. And like I said a moment ago, it's like a combination of the Blues Brothers and Out for Justice into this action-packed type movie. I mean, just everything about this movie is nuts. It is kind of wild how Robert accidentally got mixed up in something and actually got framed for that certain crime. Stolen evidence and tried to pin the crime on him. And even an innocent person got killed at the beginning of the movie. I guess even Robert had to crack this case before his life goes down the toilet, even though it already has. I mean, he really had to outrun all sorts of weirdos trying to go after him. He got chased through the sewers, a hotel building, an abandoned warehouse, a train station, and so many other crazy locations that's been happening in this movie. I mean, this movie delivers a lot. I was familiar with Jack Black, Will Smith, and Seth Green's film career for a while now. I know that Will Smith was in Shark Tale, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Independence Day, and I can't think of any other movie that he was in. But I do know Jack Black, though. He was in Mars Attacks, the third Never Ending Story movie. But you might know him better as Po the Panda from all four Kung Fu Panda movies in a row, which I assume that's what he's mostly famous for. And he was even the voice of Bowser in the Super Mario Bros. Movie that came out 3 years ago. And I already know about who Seth Green is since he was in all 3 Austin Powers movies, Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, and he was even involved with Robot Chicken and Family Guy. I do like how Robert was trying to get some answers about why these goons were after him and his family, and what the deal is about a certain tape that involves like mobsters, and why his house was being bugged. Man, I tell you, this movie really knows how to make things interesting. And it's still crazy how Robert accidentally got mixed up in something so crazy. Yeah, he went from a successful DC. He just went from a successful attorney in DC to getting some top secret information from a videotape that ends up putting his life in danger. And what's worse, he was even getting framed for something he didn't even commit. I mean, if you guys watch this movie for yourself, you would know what I'm talking about. You would pretty much know what the heck I'm trying to tell you. First, now I don't know much about Gene Hackman's film and TV career, to be honest, since I really can't think of any movie I can't think of any movie or TV show that stars Gene Hackman. So you guys might want to let me know down in the comments below what movies and TV shows he was in before and after working on Enemy of the State. In fact, you know what? Maybe I'll look it up for myself. And maybe there's like a certain movie or TV show that I might know, that might be recognizable, that I would be able to be familiar with who he is. And you gotta admit, every actor in this movie really did a good job with what they were given to make their performance so believable. Especially Will Smith and Gene Hackman. They really had to do their best to take down this corrupt politician and send him into prison. Again, you would have to watch the movie to know what crime he committed. It is kind of crazy how they are able to get some evidence on this guy, only for them to accidentally get involved in a car chase, and the car accidentally caught on fire, which actually toasted the evidence. So I guess both Robin and his new companion, played by Gene Hackman, really had to think of another way to expose the corrupt politician's plans. Again, this movie pulled no stops. I really gotta do a deep dive on the behind the scenes of this movie and see how things turned out. Because I assume that working on this movie might have been quite crazy for most of them, whether it paid off or not. So anyways, I honestly think Enemy of the State is still one of the most action-packed movies I ever seen since Out for Justice and the Blues Brothers. And yeah, I know you guys are probably gonna say that it's kind of weird for me to compare this movie with with the Blues Brothers and Out for Justice, which I totally understand. I totally understand, but I'm just doing my best to describe this movie. And I'm actually glad that Robert was able to finally clear his name and finally get reunited with his family again. And yeah, I guess when his wife found out what was going on, she really thought that Robert was the hardest person who cheated on her due to an affair that happened 4 years ago, which Robert got over it by now already. And his wife really had a hard time trusting him until later on. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Don't you just hate it when most people have trouble trusting you, even when you were framed for something you didn't do? This seems to be an odd cliche in most movies. Just saying. But anyways, this is still a great movie to watch over and over again. If you're a fan of cop movies or enjoyed any movie starring Will Smith. And yeah, I know that Will Smith sort of got himself into a little bit of trouble in recent years, which I'm probably not going to point out, since I assume you guys might have found out about this certain incident that happened at the 2022 Oscars like 4 years ago. But aside from that, I'm not gonna bring up that too much. So I'll give this movie 5 SWAT cars out of 5. Since it does prove how incredibly phenomenal this movie is. So thank you guys so much for checking out this review of Enemy of the State. And don't forget, I'm still going to GalaxyCon this weekend, and I will still dress up as Hong Kong Fooey, #1 super guy. Hey!